the maths. Paper 1, this is a non-calculator, and you've got an hour and 45 minutes to get 80 marks. So work out the value of this when r equals this. So 1.3 times by 10 squared. So 10 squared is just 100. So 1.3 times by 100 is 130. And then just plug this into here to get this. 130 minus 49, and then 130 plus 39 to get this. And then you can just square that pretty easily to get 9 over 13. And that's 2 marks. This question, take a second to read through it, but whenever you see of, it just means multiply. So I'm just going to replace everything here by multiply. This 35% will be become a 35 over 100, like this. Both sides divide by 5, so you get 7 over 20, and then you can just bring this one up here, like this. Multiply both sides by 20, so the 5 here cancels, so it's 20 multiplied by 3, which is 60, divide by 5, which is just 12, and then 7a plus 6 equals 7a plus 42. Take away 7a from both sides to get 5a equals 42, and then divide by 5 to get a equals 42 divided by 5. Here we're told that lines AC and PB bisect each other at B. PQ bisect each other at B. So whenever you want to find what the midpoint is, so what B is, you just average out these coordinates. So this, add this, divide by 2 will give you the middle. So if you have a look at the x's first, minus 4 plus 6 divide by 2, and that gives you this x coordinate. Then 5 plus 1 divide by 2, and that gives you the y coordinates for this. So that gives you 1, 3. You can take a second to look through that and check it. So I'm just going to plot that on. And then we want to work out the coordinates of Q, sorry. And we don't know what Q is, so we'll just leave it here as x, y. But we can do essentially the same thing, because if they bisect each other, PB will also equal BQ, as AB and BC. So minus 2 plus x divided by 2 equals 1, and then minus 1 plus y divided by 2 equals 3. So you've got this. So if we look at the x's first, we've got minus 2 plus x divided by 2 equals 1, and then times both sides by 2 to get minus 2 plus x equals 2. Add 2 to both sides, so this goes away. X equals 4. So that's your x coordinate there, so 4 here, 4 here. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, but look at the y coordinates. So we're saying that minus 1 plus y divided by 2 equals 3. And then 2 times by 3 is 6. So minus 1 plus y equals 6. And then y equals 7. And your coordinates are just 4, 7. 4, 7 here. Factorize fully. X squared comes out. It's probably the first thing you'll notice. So take x squared out. And then a y also comes out, because it's in both terms. So you've got this, and that's it factorized fully. Another question about factorization. So a 2 comes out of the top and a 3 comes out of the bottom, so just take that out. You can't cancel this straight away because you've got a minus y and then a y, and a positive 5x and a minus 5x. So these two are not equal, so you can't cancel them out straight away. So you can take out a negative 1 from either one. I think I took it out of the first one. Here. First one. And then, so you've now got a minus 5x plus y, and I've kind of just rearranged it here so that it's a bit more easier to tell that these two will cancel. So you're just left with minus 2 over 3. Here, O is the point 0, 0, and P is the point 2, 3. OP is the radius of a circle. Work out the equations of two possible circles. So we're not told where these points are on the circle. So whenever you see a question like this, you can assume that either one of them is going to be the centre. So 0, 0 could be the centre, or 2, 3 could be the centre. And we'll just have a look at the first case and we'll do the second one later. So we'll assume that 0, 0 is the centre. This is the equation to the circle that you should know, where r is the radius. This is just Pythagoras, so 2 squared, 3 squared, so just draw in the triangle. The square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared will give you whatever this is. That's 13. Root 13, sorry. And then square that, and then put it into this equation. So that's your first equation of a circle. And then the second one is 2, 3 is the centre, because we've already done 0, 0 as the centre. So let's assume that 2, 3 is the centre, like this. And so the other equation of a circle that you need to know to do this is this one here, where a and b are the centre. So x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. If you notice here, the radius is the exact same, so this r squared is still going to be 13 for this equation. And we've got a and b at the centre, so we've got the centre here as 2, 3, so just plug it in like this, and that's your other equation. Work out the nth term of the sequence. No, sorry, the nth term of the sequence is this, and we want this to be true. And if this equals that, then you can just plug that into there. So just hit this t and just replace it with this. And then you can multiply out both sides by 3n minus 7 to get this. Add 77, take away 32 to get n is less than 77. And we want the largest value, so n cannot be 77, it has to be the next number that's lower than it, so n equals 76. One thing to just point out here is if this is not a sequence, imagine this was a different context, you can't just multiply this by 3n minus 7, because if n is negative, and if you multiply by a negative number, this equality sign changes direction, so it would look like this. So a way to counteract that is, in a different context, is just multiply by 3n minus 7 squared, because any number squared will just be positive, so you won't have to change the direction of the inequality. You could also just take away 11 from both sides and put it over the same denominator and assume different like test cases. But it's fine, we don't need to do that for this question. Write down the limiting value of the sequence as n approaches infinity. So whenever you see a question like this and you have any pluses or minuses, just get rid of them, because it's almost like they don't matter, because if you put in a number like a million into here, so you get 32 million divided by 3 million minus 7, that minus 7 becomes so irrelevant that it just doesn't matter, so just get rid of it. Then you've got 32n over 3n, the n's cancel, so you just got 32 over 3 as the limiting factor. Here you've got a piecewise function. This top part here from 0 to 2 is in complete the square form, and that means that the coordinates of the turning point are a, b. So here we can just straight away have a look and notice that just plug in values and you'll notice that turning point is 1, 2. So that means a equals 1 and b equals 2. Just write that down. And then for this one here, this is just a straight line, and whenever you've got 2 points, you just do change in y divided by the change in x. So 4 minus 3 is just 1, divided by 5 minus 2 is 3, which is 3. So it's y equals 1 over 3 x plus whatever the y-intercept is, and that'll be d. So we know that c now equals 1/3, so just say that. Plug in any point, it doesn't matter. I've gone with 2, 3 because I think it's a bit more easier. So put that into there, multiply by 3 on both sides. And I actually didn't do that, so I made this 3 and 9 over 3, so then you can take away this because you've got the same denominator now, and then you'll get d equals 7 over 3. Those are your 4 answers. This, whenever you're looking for an inverse function, just make f of x equal x, and wherever you see an x, make it equal y, and then rearrange for y like this. So cube root both sides, take away 4, y equals this, and this will equal the inverse function of x, so just say that, inverse function of x equals this. Then you want to substitute in minus 8 wherever you see an x, so here will be a minus 8 and here will be a minus 8. The cube root of minus 8 is just minus 2, so minus 2 minus 4 is minus 6, and that's your answer. Here, gh of x is just saying g of h of x, like this. So it's saying whatever's in the x in g of x, you want to replace that with whatever's in h of x. So put this into here and set that equal to x, like this. Multiply out both sides by x minus 5, like this. Rearrange and then factorize and solve, like this. Because both of these equal 0, so x minus 6 equals 0. Add 6 to both sides, so x equals 6 and x equals negative 1. And those are your 2 answers. Show that this can be written in the form a to k. So you can simplify this, because you're multiplying, you're going to be adding the powers. So just change this so that you've got the same denominator. The root a becomes a to the power of a half. You kind of just have to know that, but that means that you square root it, so it's still the same thing. You're multiplying, you've got the same coefficients, so you just add the powers. 9 plus 7 is 16 over 12. And then, because you're dividing, whenever you divide, you take away the powers if the coefficients are the same. And so you've got a, which is the same coefficient, like this. And then this half is the same as saying 6 over 12. And it's best to change it like that, because that way you've got the same denominator, so you can just take away the powers easier. So a equals 10 over 12, which simplifies to 5 over 6. Raise both sides to the power of 6, so y to the 6 equals this to the power of 6. Whenever you're doing anything to the power of 6, the powers just multiply. So 6 times by 5 is 30, divided by 6 is 5. So y to the 6 equals a to the 5. Here, this is just a regular GCSE style question. You want to just expand this very carefully. It's cubed, not squared. So expand out 2 of them first, and then also do the exact same thing for this side. Just don't get rid of the brackets, because this minus sign is going to distribute against each term. So it'll be minus n cubed, but a positive 5n squared, because minus minus is positive. And then expand this. I've already simplified it. So n cubed cancels with n cubed, because you're taking it away. 6n squared minus minus becomes 6n squared plus 5n squared. So you've got 11n squared. The 12n plus 8 stay the same. So just put that in, and that's in the form that you want it. Simplify this fully. So the highest square that you can take out from 600 is 100, so that's 10 root 6. So this is the same as saying 10 root 6. And then root 54 is saying 9 multiplied by 6, but a 9 square roots into 3, so it's 3 root 6. And then this 24 becomes 6 multiplied by 4, but the 4 square roots into a 2, so it's 2 root 4. Sorry, 2 root 6. So you've got this. Collect like terms, and then divide out by root 6 on each side to get 7 over 2. Here, it's saying that sine of x equals 3 over 5. It's kind of a big clue that you should be using sine. So imagine SOHCAHTOA, because it's a 90-degree triangle. So you're using the opposite and the hypotenuse, and you're going to be dividing this out. So 3a divided by 2a plus 9 equals 3 over 5. Just rearrange, solve for a to get a equals 3. So 3 multiplied by 3 equals 9, and then 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. 6 plus 9 is 15. And because this is just Pythagoras, so you do the square root of 15 squared plus minus 9 squared, and that's root 144. It's not plus or minus because it's a length, so you always have to take the positive, so it's just 12. Yeah, a cone has this volume, and you're told the volume of the cone. So just set this equal to each other, because you want to later work out what the radius is, like this. It's best here to multiply by a 9 out on either side, but for some reason I just didn't see that. I didn't do that. I multiplied out by a 3. You'll still get the same answer, so it's fine. Now you've got a h here, and you don't know what to do with it, so let's have a look at the other information it gives you. So it's in h to r equals 5 to 3, and that's the same thing as saying h divided by r equals 5 divided by 3. So you can just imagine this colon as a divide symbol to get this. Rearrange for h, which is this, so h equals 5 over 3r. Now you can just plug this into here to get this. Expand, multiply by 3, so they both cancel. 320 equals 5r cubed. Divide by 5 on each side to get 64 equals r cubed, and then cube root that to get 4, and that's the radius. Solve this between 0 and 360. So this is an absolute, this is an exact value that you should know. And sine of x is a half, so just take the inverse sine of each side, so that's x equals 30. You can use tables or the triangles or the hand rules and stuff like that to help you, or even cast diagrams, but that's really unnecessary right now. You can work out what the other value is, because the sine is symmetrical. So you do 118 minus 30. So for sine you always do 118 minus this angle, and then for cosine it's 360 minus the angle, and then for tan you just add 180 each time. So 180 minus this equals 150, and that's the other solution. You can't do 180 minus this because you'll just get this again, so your two answers are this. one solution of this is this, at 120 degrees. And like I said last time, tan repeats every 180 degrees. So 120 plus 180 is just 300. So that's the answer. It doesn't matter what this is, like, you can just ignore that. Cycle theorem question. So here you've got a tangent and you've got a cyclic quadrilateral, because they're all touching the circumference. So the opposite angles will add up to 180. And here you've got alternate segment theorem. So this will equal this. So angle ABE equals angle ACB. Here. So let me just go back actually. So this equals 2x because it's alternate segment theorem, and 180 minus this will give you this angle here because it's cyclic quadrilateral. So 100 here and 2x here, and because it's a straight line they all must equal 180. So 180 minus 100 plus 2x, like this. That's just me showing that equals 100 degrees. Simplify that, so 80 minus 2x, the negative distributes, and that equals angle CBF. Angles on a straight line here, you just want to work out this now. So 2x plus 2x is 4x. 180 minus 4x is just that. Now because it's an isosceles triangle, base angles are the same, so this is the same as this. So if you times this by 2 and add whatever this angle was, which is here, you'll get 180 degrees because it's a triangle and the angles sum to 180 degrees. Like this. Divide both sides by 2, so 180 minus 4x plus 40 minus x equals 90. Rearrange, x equals 26. Work out the values of this for x, for which this is a decreasing function. And for something to be a decreasing function, this has to be true. So the first derivative must be less than 0. So you can imagine this, because if the first derivative is less than 0, you can say it's a negative. So if it's a negative line, that's the gradient. That's the gradient, or the tangent. Sorry, it's going to look like this. It's going to be pointing in this direction. And if this is a parabola like this, if you've got a negative gradient, you're going to be going downwards, and if it's down, it's decreasing. And so the opposite is true for when it's an increasing function. This, you can differentiate that. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6 divided by 3, so you have 2x, and then decrease this power by 1. I'm sure you know how to do power rule. And then these twos just cancel, so you have 7x. Okay? And f prime of x is the same as saying dy over dx, so just substitute that into there. Factor out an x to get this. X equals, the critical values are x equals 0 and x equals minus 7 over 2. And you're looking for the values for which they are less than 0. So the largest number it can be is 0, and the lowest is minus 7 over 2, like this, and that's your answer. This is arguably the hardest question on the paper, so you kind of just have to know your matrix transformations, but you can work them out, and I'll show you how to work them out if you don't know them. So you have to know what this identity matrix is. Sorry, one second. Yeah, so you have to know the identity matrix, which is 1, 0, 0, 1. And you can imagine this just like 2 points on a graph. So draw a graph like this, x and y coordinates, and imagine this as the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate, and this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. So this is always the first point. So 1, 0, so 1 and 0, that's there. 0, 1, 0, 1 will go here. Label that. Now we want to go from I to A, so you want to rotate 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So imagine where the points would move. So, and then you want to like format it like this into a matrix. So 1, 0 will go to 0, 1. So if you imagine it, it's going to rotate that way. So this will go to here. So the first column is going to be 0, 1, and then the second column for this one, 0, 1, will now go to here, because if it rotates 90 degrees anti-clockwise, it's going to go down here, and that becomes minus 1, 0. So it's going to look like this. So it's 0, 1, this goes to 0, 1, and then this one goes to minus 1, 0, which is here. You do the exact same thing for B, reflection in the x-axis. So this point here will not move, so it'll just stay the same. So the first column is going to be the same as the identity matrix. You always want to go from the identity matrix, so it's just kind of something you have to remember. So just memorize this and you can work out all the transformations. You need to know 8 for GCSE further maths. Reflect this point in the x-axis, so you get the x-coordinate being the same, but the y-coordinate is going to change to a negative 1. So you've got 0, negative 1. So 1, 0, 0, negative 1. Just plot it like that. And then it's saying C is transformation A followed by transformation B. Whenever you see this, it just means B multiplied by A. So just do B multiplied by A. This multiplied by that. You should know how to multiply matrices. If you don't, I'll just quickly go over this. So 1 times 0, add 0 times by 1 is just 0. And then, so it's first row, first column is done. Now it's first row, second column. 1 times by minus 1 is minus 1. Add 0 times by 0 is just 0. And then 0 times by 0, so now it's second row, first column. 0 times by 0 is 0. Add minus 1 times by 1, so it's minus 1. And then second row, second column. 0 multiplied by minus 1 is just 0. Add minus 1 times by 0, so it's just 0. And that's C, that's B. And then you want to show that it's equivalent to a single reflection. So that's just what we worked out there. It's the same thing. And you want to draw out the identity matrix again, and then plot the points, so here and here. And you want this first column that was originally here in the identity matrix, and you want that to go to 0, 1. So if you imagine where 0, 1 is, this will go here. So 0, 1, like this. And then this one here will go to minus 1, 0. So minus 1, 0, which is here. You plot that on, and you can say that, well, it's definitely not a rotation. First of all, the question tells us it's a reflection, so it's a big giveaway. But if it didn't, you can just kind of like do process of elimination. So it can be a rotation anti-clockwise, because if you did, then this point would go here, but then this point would go up here, but you want it to go here, so it's definitely not that. And it's not a rotation the other way, because even though this point will go here, this point will go over here. So the only thing it can be is a reflection in the y equals negative x line. So then this point goes to this one, and this point goes to this one. So just say that. From the identity matrix to this is a reflection in the y equals negative x. That's all 4 marks. Show angle CAB is equal to 60 degrees. So this is kind of just like reverse cosine rule, I guess you could say. So it's, you should know cosine rule, it's this. So a squared, which is this point here, equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of this angle here. Just plug in the values. It doesn't matter what b and c are here, just put it in. You'll get this. This is a mess, but just expand very carefully. You can kind of notice that lots of things will cancel. So all of this mess just becomes this. Take away 28 from both sides to get this. Divide by minus 8, so you get minus 4 over minus 8, which is just a half, equals cosine A. Inverse cosine of both sides. This is an exact value that you should know. And that's 60 degrees. And that's it, you've shown it for 5 marks. This, by multiplying throughout by x to the power of 1/3, or otherwise. If it says or otherwise, just ignore it. Just take its advice, because it's trying to help you. And this will probably be the easiest way to do it anyways. So whenever you're multiplying out, you do it on both sides. And if you've got the same coefficient, which we do here, you just add the powers. We did that in like question 3, it's kind of similar, but this one's a bit trickier. So 2 over 3 add 1 over 3 is just 3 over 3, which is just 1. Then minus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3. These just cancel, so it becomes 0. X to the 0, anything to the 0 is just 1. Yeah, 6x to the 5 over 3 So 5 over 3, add 1 over 3 is just 6 over 3, and that simplifies to 2. So you've got x plus 1 equals 6x squared. Rearrange, and you can just factorise this. You can use the AC method, it's what I use because I feel like it's the easiest. So you multiply this by this to get this. Factorise that, and just ignore the divide by 6 for now. So you've got x minus 3, x plus 2, and that gives you this. And then you want to divide by whatever the A term was, so it was 6. And then this clearly simplifies, this is a half, and then this is 1 over 3. Like that. And if it doesn't simplify to give you an integer any further, just bring the 2 over here. Bring whatever the denominator is over here. Likewise for this, so bring that over there to get that. Both of these equal 0, so x equals a half, x equals minus 1/3. That's your answer. Those are your answers. A curve has this equation, and you want to work out the equation of the normal to the curve at this point, and you want your answer in that form. So here, if you see normal, just differentiate. Before you can, just think about this. So whenever you've got 3 over 2x squared, it's the same thing as saying 3 over 2 multiplied by 1 over x squared, because this will just go here, and the 3 times 1 is just 3. So this is the same thing as this. 1 over x squared is just x to the negative 2, which is this. Differentiate this. So minus 2 times by 3 is minus 6. Minus 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then you reduce the power to get a minus 3. And here the x just goes away. To get this, you've got the x coordinate of a half, so just put a half in there. And then this is the reciprocal because it's a negative. So it's 2 cubed, which is 8. 8 times by 3 is 24, and it's 14 take away 24, which is just minus 10. And because it's the normal, so it's perpendicular to whatever the line was, so it's a negative reciprocal, which is the gradient. So a negative reciprocal of minus 10 is 1 over 10. So imagine timesing this by negative 1, it just becomes a 10, and then the reciprocal is 1 over 10. So you just flip it. This is the equation of a line. You can also use y equals mx plus c. It doesn't matter, they both get you the same answer. Plug in x and y, and the gradient. Expand out, times by 20, so you get 20y minus 260 equals 2x minus 1. And then just rearrange it in this form, ax plus by plus c equals 0. To get this. And then this is the last question. It's just completing the square. It's pretty standard except for the end, which is a little bit tricky. So take out a negative 1 to get this. Take out an 18 to get this. This simplifies to 2 over 3. And then just complete the square on this. So this 2 over 3 becomes, if you 2 over 3 divide by 2, the 2's just cancel, so it's a 1 over 3. And then take away whatever this was squared to get this. Distribute the minus 18 to the minus 1 over 9. So this becomes a positive 2, and then you've got a plus 7, so you can just collect that. And here, you can't just say that this is your final answer, because it's saying a, b and c are positive integers, and here, c is not an integer, it's 1 over 3. So, imagine expanding this like this, and you want this here to be a positive integer, so just a positive number, and you want this here to also be a positive number. So just multiply each one. Just multiply this bracket by 3, multiply this bracket by 3. But remember, you've only got minus 18. So if you're taking out 2 3's from it, so it's a 3 for that one. So 18 divided by 3, which is 6, and then divide by 3 again, which is 2. So you've given away 9 basically. 3 to this one, 3 to this one, so it's minus 9. You've given out, sorry, not minus 9, just 9. Like this. Then expand this to get 3x plus 1, and then here 3x plus 1. Don't expand out all of these brackets because you'll just put it back in this form, which you don't want. And then that becomes 3x plus 1 squared, because these two will become the same thing. And then just put the 9 on this side because you want it in this form as it wants, like that. And that's the entire paper. That's all 80 marks done in, I think, around 25 minutes. So yeah, that's it.